I'm Star. Let's art. It's probably been a while since you thought of shrink plastic art, or Shrinky Dinks, as most of us would know them by. I got the itch to see if I could make something a little nicer, elevate shrink art to the point of being gift-worthy, and make a few cool things I had in my head. So first you need a design that you can copy on the shrink plastic, and I decided to sketch out the lion so fast you can't even see me working on it until it looks done. Wow, that was fast. I didn't forget to film that part. I'm just that fast when I get inspired. You have to keep a few things in mind with shrink art. One is that the design is going to be reversed, so anything you set down needs to be intended to appear backwards in the final form. This is an extra hard when you deal with things like words and having to face your flipped artwork. But there's a decent hack I like to use with this particular project that I'll explain later. For now, we just need the design transferred to the rough side of the shrink plastic, so I just tape it down to keep it from shifting while tracing my line work. And again, you kind of have to think in reverse when you do this, because the first thing I put down will be the thing that shows through to the other side. I'm painting the lines that will float on top of the art. If I want something like a highlight to appear on top of these black lines, like say a white dot in the eyes, I have to put that down first, or else I'm not going to show through the black paint to the front. Unless you paint it on the other side. This is where that hack comes in that I mentioned to you. I don't know about you, but I'm shit at writing backward, and worse at writing backwards and making it pretty. I mean, come on, hand lettering is a challenge to begin with. It's kinda a whole art form now with how we use handwriting less and less, and mostly just for signatures these days, so like, who is really good at hand lettering anyway, except like, as an art form? But I digress. Here you can see a shot of the back after I forgot to film the coloring. I certainly did forget a lot of filming for this, my first video. I hope you'll forgive me. Now you can see me holding the art up to a light source so that I can make sure I didn't leave any tiny gaps and fill in the colors, poking those tiny little spots with dots of acrylic marker to make sure I had a smooth final finish. Now you totally get to observe the power of my ring light on shrink plastic and watch in real time as I completely miss the fact that the lighting is going to ruin the shot. Shininess factor will be considered in the future. But hey, you get the idea. A few highlights, a few touch-ups on the front, and boom. I'm hand lettering that sentiment and the art is all finished. So now I'm going to cut out the shape I wanted, and I'll punch a hole for the all-important jump ring I'll add later to attach the art to a keychain, and then it's into the toaster oven for the fun, horrifying? Fun part, right. Shrinking the plastic is relatively easy. You just put it in the oven and let it go for a couple of minutes, and it kind of just lays there doing nothing until it suddenly decides, oh, it's hot in here, and curls up while shrinking, contracting all its plastic molecules tighter and denser, which is what ultimately makes the final piece roughly 1/5 the size of the original and about 5 times thicker. The terrifying part of this process is the fear that the plastic will curl just enough to touch itself and stick, which can mess up the process, warp the final shape, or even just not let go, and you have to pull it out and unstick it and get it back in there and flatten it out really quick, and it's hot, and yeah, this is the worst part. Especially when you just spent like an hour or two on the art and you don't want to mess it up, or oh gosh, it curled so hard. Please, 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 why? Okay, I'm just gonna lay it on a ceramic tile and pray. Who's the goddess of art? Shit. KP? Jazza? Rachel Maxey? Someone please just let this shrinky little plastic thingy flatten out and not ruin my pretty paint marker art. I really don't want to have to redo it, please. Just gonna let it cool a little, then use this index card as a pizza peel, and my camera work is amazing. Meanwhile, hot. Oh yeah, if you try this, please be smarter than me. Have everything you need already on hand before you take the hot thing out of the oven, like safety equipment, a heat-safe protective item like a pot holder or something. Smarter than just finding the closest piece of fabric that happens to be laying around and grabbing a ceramic tile from the oven. Okay, at least it looks like my prayers worked. Thank you, Jazza. Okay, so she's a little wrinkly bubbly, but that's okay. We will fix everything later with UV resin. And this time I remembered to show the sketching process. So I wanted to make a gift for my Nona. She likes unicorns, so I found some references and tried to come up with a cute unicorn design that wouldn't break my brain. We can at least be a little off of normal horse anatomy, since unicorns are traditionally based on goats, but really, since Lauren Faust got hold of My Little Pony, I think all bets are off, and I can draw whatever I want as long as it's cute and has a horn and 4 legs, right? Except, the footage is fully upside down, isn't it? Clover! Thank you! Now from here it's really the same process as before. We tape down the plastic sheet, and then we get started on finishing the piece. First we have to think in reverse, because layering and flipping the artwork, so, keep that in mind. And now we trace the line work. This is going to take a few minutes. I decided to use silver metallic lines for the horn and some of the magic, little sparkles and such. Then I wanted to give it a bit of extra sparkle, so I added some iridescent medium in choice places to give it a bit of extra shine. A small note to future star. Yeah, I hope you learned from this little mistake. Never put the shrink art in the oven until the paint has completely dried first. You'll see. Anyway, a few finishing touches to the front, make sure everything looks nice, then cut that sucker out. Into the hot box for shrinking. Jazza, okay, baby Rachel. Aw, shit, it's sticking. Fuck. Yay, she made it! So she's a little warped, and the pretty fancy paints I used on the back didn't like that. So I'm just gonna do a little touch up on the final piece, and yeah. So I peeled off the bubbled up paint and just touched her up with my Poscas, a little sparkle glaze, and she'll be good as new. So now I'm just going to coat both pieces with UV resin on one side, then the other. I'm trying to be careful not to get the resin into the holes I punched for the jump rings, but I will ultimately fail at this task, and one of the holes will get filled. Also, I want to be the first to chide myself for not wearing proper safety equipment for this part. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but please always wear nitrile gloves and a respirator when working with resin, especially 2-part epoxy, but even UV resin really isn't safe for our skin or lungs, and I was an idiot here to skip that step. I think I was thinking I wasn't going to touch it, but no matter how hard you try not to touch it, you're going to nudge something or move your arm wrong, and the bottle tip touches your skin, and next thing you know, you have an incurable resin allergy. So, yeah, please do as I say, not as I do, and I'll do better. This was a fun part because partway through I decided that I could add some extra sparkle and shine by adding these little, plastic holographic sparkles to really strategic parts of the art piece, and then resining them in place and then adding glitter in layers so that I could get kind of a 3D holographic layered sparkle effect. Next time I'll make sure that I'm better centered on what I'm doing so that you can see it better. This is my first time making a full-length YouTube video, so I hope that you will forgive me for the growing pains, and hopefully in the future everything will be a lot better. With both pieces coated in resin on both sides, it's time to add all of the hardware to make these two art pieces into a pair of keychains. And that's really it. So now I suppose it's time for those glamour shots? I don't know, that's just what all the cool artists call it, right? These are not really the most glamorous shots. I solidly should have filmed the outcome better and shown off the art better. And next time, I'm new to this. This is my first video and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. My motivation is based on praise. And your like and subscribe is like a little head pat. It tells me to do more of this thing. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.